Hey, you're working on your portfolio and you're not sure what you should be doing. Well, I say you should be treating it like a UX project. How? Let's talk about it. Whether you self-taught, went to boot camp, went to university, started going and doing projects on your own, one thing that reigns supreme within getting a role, or your first role or your next role, is the UX portfolio. This is something that everybody looks for. Everybody wants to make sure that it's really good. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of ways that I found to be super effective in getting over some of those mind blocks within your portfolio. Especially when it comes to making your first one, it could be really difficult to understand, am I doing the right thing? Is it for the right audience? Is it for anything, are they understanding? Is it for anything that they want? All of these different things could come up. And one thing that I found really helped me in understanding, okay, this is what they need, this is how to do it, and this is how I feel comfortable with keep iterating and not just being like, I've done it, it's done, I'm good, is to really start thinking about it as a UX project of itself. Yeah, your own portfolio is treated as a UX project. It sounds weird, it sounds a little difficult, but let me break it down and let you know how it applies to one another. If you really start thinking about a UX portfolio, you can start understanding that it's really like a landing page or a website for you as a designer that's trying to sell your services to people, to businesses, right? This is something where you have to understand, like, let them understand, hey, why would I hire you? What are we looking for? What type of person is this? And for your website, you're really just trying to tell them, hey, this is my value proposition, this is my mission statement, and let them really get engrossed in, oh, this is what this person is going to be able to do for my website. This is how they envision all of their products coming to play when they're looking to do things. So similarly, like a business, your project, your portfolio has to be marketed like that. And as yourself, you're thinking of yourself as a product service more so. It's really important to get that connection between them understanding what are you providing us, not just what do we need, right? And this is where you get an option of telling them, hey, what is the main thing of this website? Are we going to be a UI agency or a UI service? Are we going to be a UX and UI service? Are we going to be research? Are we going to be content? These are different questions that you would have to ask yourself as if you were a business, because that's what you're presenting your services as. This is what your portfolio is helping you to do. So it's really good to take yourself into that lens of, instead of you're going to be hired by some people that will have this figured out, you're going to have to be the business that says, okay, what are our priorities? What do we focus on? And what is this website trying to show you that we do, right? So you have to make sure that that's part of your process. And also you want to give them an idea of how you tackle things, because that's going to help to control your CTAs, your call to actions. It's going to help you communicate how your copy is going to be laid, because you're going to speak in a certain voice and tone. So it's really good to have an understanding of who are we, what are we looking for at the beginning, and that really helps push your product forward. Another reason why I find it super helpful to take this step in thinking of it as a UX project is, now that you understand you're the business and the stakeholder and everything for this project, because your main purpose is to get the job, so you have to let them know this is why, this is the type of business we are. The next thing you really have to do is understand, who are my customers? Who are the people that are going to actually be accessing this website and actually going to be hiring me for my services? That's how we get into user research and really start to understand who are our target markets. So you're really starting to go and figure out, who are the people hiring me? What are they expecting from a service like mine, which will be as a designer? Well, not even as a quotations as a designer, you are a designer. When are they going to need my services? At what type of capacity? How am I going to do this? Why do they need somebody for this service? So these are things you're going to have to start thinking about and start putting yourself in their shoes of, hey, as I go and I talk to people about it, how do I have to construct my portfolio, my case studies, and everything to really start to understand it? And the reason why I want to focus more so on this than actually telling you the actual steps and tips and guides right now is because this this changes from person to person. From your portfolio is going to be different from my portfolio, who's going to be different from another person's portfolio. So yeah, you can Google all these things and see like, hey, these are some steps that you could include and things like that. But this is really to help make sure that what you're doing really aligns with your business, which is you being a service provider for UX design services or whatever the path that you want to take. And also you understand who are the people I want to get hired by, what do they need, and let me align it to them. So this is just making it a little bit more clear as if it was its own UX project, and be like, you know what, I've tackled this, I've understood the people that need it, and now I'm aligned with them and they're aligned with me so that we could get a better working relationship. And this does take a little bit more work, but it does make you a little bit more flexible, because now when you go and you're trying to talk to people for, say, an informational interview or talk to hiring managers, you're trying to understand them from a user perspective and you're listening to them more empathetically versus being like, oh crap, they could be deciding my entire future. If I get this wrong, what do I do? And I think that's one of the things that really helped me when I started looking at it as a UX project, because I took myself out of the equation and be like, hey, this is what my business is about. You're the people that I'm looking to help. Did I help make sure that I answered your questions, that this is telling a story, and that I could provide my services for you? You don't want to have that dynamic where you're coming from a place of desperation when it comes to these job interviews. And I think that this is one of those methods. Similarly, as you're doing your UX in the field, they help you to validate your ideas and feel comfortable with them versus feeling like any type of negative response or non-positive response of like, great, we want to hire you, doesn't come as a slight or as like an attack on your character or who you are. This is one thing that you don't want to do. So we went over some tips over the UX portfolio and how to make it stronger. I recommend creating it as a UX project that you can then detach your emotions from it and really just start getting the answers to make it as effective for the people that are looking to hire you, and also less of a I need to get things right. But I'm not the only one, so I really like to hear from y'all. What are your comments and your tips outside of this that could help improve the portfolio, or even your thoughts on what I said? Make sure that you like and you subscribe to the video and you leave any comments below. We'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.